Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Hatha for Everybody with Jennifer Eubank. Delighted to be here on this beautiful sunny day. We need a blanket, a couple blocks, and a strap for today's practice. And we're starting in a seated position today, and then we'll lie back in a few moments. So that said, let's go ahead and settle in. Maybe sit on a blanket. You want to make sure that you are good and stable, sound, got a nice foundation. Feel free to keep your socks on. And we'll take a few moments to settle in, tapping into our root chakra, getting all those needs taken care of, settling in, and finding a good earth connection. After all, that is the element associated with the root chakra, the earth. Maybe close your eyes or soften your gaze. You could take some nice cleansing breaths. Soften your face, your shoulders, your knees. As you rise up from that gravitational force, I'm gonna settle into that force as well. Let gravity take those shoulders and knees down. Not droop, but just settle. Feel that widening in your sacrum, your second chakra. Note the sensations present in your pelvis. Perhaps you can feel the breath expanding and softening your sacral chakra. Adapting to the seat. Adapting to this posture. Maintaining curious natures with this, a curious mindset. Tapping into your pleasure, feeling how settled and quiet and joyful this can be just by merely sitting here. Keep your belly drawn in just above the belly button, your third chakra, your solar plexus, your chakra of will and determination, strength and stamina. All these properties associated with these first three chakras, very concrete, easy to discern, physical, basic, all supporting that fourth chakra, your heart chakra. Feel that lift in your heart. Feel that expansion in your chest, your shoulders, and your back area. Continuing to soften those shoulders. Feel the neck lengthening as the shoulders soften. Feel the breath coming in and out of the throat. Your voice chakra, today's chakra. Take just a few more moments, looking straight ahead, gazing right in front of you. Maybe take your gaze slightly between your brows, your third eye chakra, next week's chakra, all helping you to lift that final chakra, your crown chakra, the top of your head, not your forehead or your chin or your nose, the crown of your head. Maybe tuck your chin or tip it slightly in. Feel that neck lengthening. A couple more breaths here. And then you can slowly glide your eyes back open if you close them. So that was a brief review of all the chakras leading up to chakra 5, the voice chakra, the throat chakra, it's sometimes called. Its properties are communication, how we use our voice or not. Sometimes just being silent and listening is tapping into your voice chakra. You know, your ears are very close to your voice. So listening comes into this as well. So before we start our asana practice, I thought we would do a little pranayama and explore our ujjayi breath. And most of you are, I mean, if not all of you know this breath technique. It's a well-known breathing technique in the yoga rooms. It is also called victorious breath, also known as Darth Vader breath, Star Wars breath. It's the one where you breathe in and out through your nose, but you narrow the passageway of your throat, so you have to push the air in and back out so that you can feel it and hear it. Excuse me. Should have taken a quick breath before I got right into it. So I just did a few rounds of it. Hopefully you could hear that. And as you tap into that, you should be able to hear your own as well as feel it. Sometimes this is called conch breath or ocean breath because you can take you know how you take a conch shell and put it up against your ear and you can hear the ocean. Well, it's the same kind of idea here. So let's do about maybe 2 minutes practicing our Ujjayi breathing. If you start to get dizzy, tone it down. Scale down on the intensity, or you could stop altogether and come back to it. You don't have to be doing it constantly for the next couple of minutes because it might make you dizzy. Maybe do 5 or 6 and then come back to it. Vissudha breath is usually associated with vinyasa and challenge. It's called victorious breath. So it's used quite a lot in exploring warrior poses. But it also brings you mental clarity, helps you focus, so you can make it a real quiet and tiny ujjayi. Hopefully you could hear that. So it can be very loud or very quiet. So we'll take a couple more moments experimenting with our ujjayi breath. And you've probably already figured out why I've picked this Ujjayi breath. Let's do 3 or 4 more. Coming back to regular breath as you're ready. Noticing the effects of that Ujjayi breath. Noticing the energy in your throat area. And that Ujjayi breath is a great way to immediately tap into your voice chakra and start to balance and condition and stimulate that voice chakra. So we'll come back to that Ujjayi breath throughout today's practice. And let's go ahead and do a pose to get into things. Let's do a supported fish. A nice quiet pose before we bring some action and movement into our practice. Supported fish, that's a reclining back bend. A more quiet version involves a blanket folded like this. You want it nice and neat and uniform and not real big. And you put it across your mat and you lie back on that blanket so that your rib cage, your thoracic spine lands on the blanket and part of your shoulder blades, but the shoulders in the front, your arms, your head are all behind the blanket. That's really important. So the head and arms behind the blanket because you want that lift in your heart, that lift in your chest. Arms can be out, well, may naturally go wide because of the blanket. You could have the feet wide, you can have them close together. And of course, there's the other version, which is more intense. You need 2 blocks. The first one is parallel to your spine, and you land the ribs on it. Same thing as that what lands on the blanket, and then you take another block and you put it solid on the ground under your head. And you want to make sure that the block is not so high that your head is up. This is not what we're looking for. This is not a good fish pose because it puts a crane in the neck. It strains the neck. You want the heart to be higher than the head. And once you settle into whatever position you pick, picking and deciding which pose, finding all the props, getting everything good and situated. These are all root chakra ideals. And then you can kind of settle in and start to tap into your sacral chakra, where we start to explore and notice how it feels. I am your root chakra. I feel the sacral chakra. And you can feel that lift in your solar plexus, bringing space to the belly area, giving us the strength that we need to stick with this pose. And feel that lift in your heart, the expansion in your heart area, the wideness of the chest, the softening of the shoulders, drawing attention and energy to your heart chakra. And notice the energy in your throat area, This is a little bit of an inversion. So this brings fresh oxygenated blood, this position, to your throat area. This is why we want the heart a little higher than the head. And you could apply some Ujjayi breathing here if you haven't already. It can be big and bold, or it can be gentle and quiet. I suggest you play around with different volumes of that Ujjayi breathing and notice how it affects not just the physical pose, but the energy within this structure. Maybe it's starting to help bring you out of your shell. Remember, heart chakra, when it's in balance, we're shy. Our voice chakra helps support our ideas. It's associated with communication, how we use our voice, the tone, the volume, the quality, the words we pick, or those that we don't. Lying, that is involved in your voice chakra, being truthful. You want to be honest and how you use your voice, yet kind. Vissudha is the Sanskrit name for the throat chakra. It's the fifth chakra. Its color on the rainbow spectrum is light blue. Let's go about 10 more breaths here. They can be Ujjayi breaths or not, or a little of both. Ujjayi breathing compels you to breathe more deeply, more soundly. Mm-hmm. You can interpret that in several ways. It helps you build upon your breath powers, conditioning your respiratory system, all of which supports your heart and your voice. We'll go a little bit longer here. Coming back to regular breath whenever you're ready. And a couple of regular breaths. And then we can start to come out of the pose bit by bit. So we can bend the knees first. And what we want to do is come out of the pose, but then stay on the back. Okay. So we'll end in a two-legged table. So roll to one side off the blocks and pull the blocks out. Or if you're on that blanket, you might want to lift up a little bit and pull that blanket out from under you so that you eventually lie back down in your two-legged table. You still keep your socks on if you like. Take a couple of breaths, maybe do a little bit of movement. Notice how you feel. Maybe stretch those arms out. Maybe take a couple of Ujjayi breaths. Those Ujjayi breaths are great for giving you energy. I use them in that breath when I'm running up the steps all the time. It's very helpful. Okay, so let's do some twist action. Really good to open up our heart area because we want all the chakras leading up to our voice chakra to be well balanced. So first things first, let's put your right ankle up on top of the left knee. Arms out to the sides. Take care of those basic structural needs. And then when you're ready, let's start to change it up and bring some movement and some fluidity into things. So we rooted, and now we're exploring in our sacral chakra. And then let's go a little bit further and bring our head into it, livening it up a little bit. Eventually going in the opposite direction between the knee and the head. Stoking your third chakra, your solar plexus, putting a little bit more energy to it. Feel that heart opening. Keep the breath, coordinating the movement. You could always do some ujjayi breathing here. It's interesting. The moment I added that ujjayi breathing into it, it slowed me down. It made me get more focused and notice more. And that was my experience. We'll do a few more of these. Let's come back to center as you're ready. Take a couple of breaths, feeling the effects. Again, that's root chakra energy. And then make that change. We'll bring the foot down a couple of breaths, notice. And then bring the other up. Take a couple of breaths, notice that, settle in, and then start the movement as you're ready. First with the legs, adding the head and the breath into it as you're ready. Of course, the breath was always there, but coordinating the movement with breath. Twisting at some point. What's it like on this side? Maybe some ujjayi breathing. Nice little sacral massage here. You really get in touch with your sacral chakra here, because you can physically feel it up against the floor. It's getting wide. We're changing. We're bringing that fluidity into things. A little bit longer. Back to center as you're ready. Couple of breaths back in the middle with the foot still up. Avoid rushing. Bring that foot down. Again, avoid rushing. What's going on? Let's go into Apanasana. A couple of breaths here. And then let's do some hip rolls. Rolling in one direction. Keep the belly drawn in. Right at that solar plexus. Switch directions whenever you feel the need. Not the need. Want to make sure you do both directions. Balance things. Do both sides evenly. Balancing is a concept that we want to keep in mind as we explore our chakras. We want to keep them balanced. When they get out of hand, things go awry. When your voice chakra gets out of hand, you're dishonest. Maybe you speak too loud, you're too combative in your voice. You might become chatty and gossipy. Let's come to one side and sit up at some point. So, in other words, using your voice in a non-constructive manner means that your voice chakra needs some balancing. Let's come to a seated position. Take your time. It can be legs bent. It can be legs extended, whatever feels right for you. Take a few moments settling into that seat. There's your root chakra. Feel that widening sacrum. Belly drawn in to keep you good and strong. Heart lifted. And when we tap into our chakras all the time, just now we're bringing some good solid attention to it. Hands out to the sides when you're ready. Tent pull the fingers so that they're nice and grounded and part of your earth connection. Seated mountain position. One or two more breaths. And then as you're ready, let's start our rainbows. Inhaling the arms up. You decide which hand comes down. Take your time establishing a good rhythm, a safe range of motion, and see how things evolve. And as always, each week, when we focus on the chakras, our rainbows, I bring in the color spectrum of the rainbow and how it fits in with the chakras. Chakras are thousands of years old, older than yoga, they say. And the rainbow idea came into it in the 1970s. So our chakra understanding, it's evolved. We've applied new ideas to it. Red for your red root chakra, I am. Orange for your sacral chakra, I feel. Yellow, solar plexus, your third chakra, I do. Green, your heart chakra, I love. Today's chakra, blue. Voice chakra, I speak. It's a light blue. Indigo blue is your third eye chakra, I see. All leading up to that top chakra, violet, purple, crown chakra. I understand. A couple more of these rainbows. Coming back to center whenever you're ready and taking a couple of breaths. Notice. And then let's do staff pose for a few moments. Line up the ankles, the knees, the hips, the shoulders as best you can. Engage the leg muscles to keep you connected to the earth, good and strong. Root your sits bones. Tilt your pelvis slightly forward. Feel that tailbone maybe settling down. Rooting you, grounding you. Widening in the sacrum. Belly drawn in. Tap into that stamina of your solar plexus. Feel the lift in the heart, the widening of the heart area, the lengthening of the neck. Maybe take a couple of ujjayi breaths to help stimulate and spark your voice chakra. Looking straight ahead or right between the brows if you'd like. Feeling that crown lift, tapping into your earth-sky axis, your chakra power, your spinal strength. Let's add a mudra to this, Akasha mudra. It's element, it represents air. Air is the element of our voice chakra. Your thumb and your middle finger, very simple. Press those tips lightly together and then bring them back out onto the floor, out to the sides, or you could put them on your legs if you like. I like to put them out to the sides, facing up or down, whatever makes sense for you. And we'll take a couple more breaths, maybe ujjayi breaths. One more breath. You can come back to regular breath. If you had that ujjayi breathing, release that mudra. Mudra means lock, seal. So it means seal. We're sealing in that energy. Okay, let's come to butterfly position. Take a couple of breaths, stabilizing your version, your butterfly, hands somewhere on the legs. And then when you're ready, let's start some butterfly flies, going back and forth, curving our spine towards the back of the body and the front. Inhaling with one and exhaling with another. And as you start to draw upon the breath a little bit more as a part of this movement, perhaps bring some ujjayi breathing into this. Maybe. Let's go one or two more. Try to end on the second half. I started in the back. So I want to balance things out and end in the front half. Do your best. Return to butterfly. Reconnect with your butterfly position. And once you've done that and stabilized it, settle into it. And let's take 3 more breaths here. They can be ujjayi breaths, or they can simply be well-meaning breaths. Either will bring some energy and awareness to your throat. And then as you're ready, let's extend our legs out and kind of shake them out and tap them out. And let's get ready to make our way up. Before we do our warrior exploration, I want to do some warrior work today. That's a great way to draw awareness and stoke some energy into your voice chakra, because warriors are all about, standing up for yourself and others. But before we go there, let's do some down dogs. So take your time. You might want to take those socks off like I just did, because we need the traction. Having a sockless yoga experience will help bring awareness to your root chakra, because you get a better earth connection. So take your time. Let's spend the next, maybe 20 breaths. Not a lot of time in our dogs, but just enough to get up and start to tap into our sense of will and determination, because these take a lot of strength. They take a lot of energy. They're also inversions. Your head dropping down is really good to help bring energy and awareness to your throat chakra. So you could do some Ujjayi breathing here. And by the way, any throat chakra work is also going to draw awareness and condition your thyroid gland. Your thyroid gland is located in your throat, and it's associated with sleep and homeostasis and just keeping your body good and balanced. Homeostasis. Take your time. We'll go about maybe 10 more breaths. By the way, doing the Ujjayi breath in downward facing dogs, one of my favorite ways to get ready for a class. It helps get me prepared, it helps bring me energy, but also helps me clarify my voice, because I want to have a good, concise voice when I'm teaching. So if ever you have to maybe get up in front of a group, present material to your boss, or have an uncomfortable conversation with a partner or a child, doing a little bit of Ujjayi breathing before that speech, that conversation, can really help clarify your voice. And add all those other chakras into it, grounding and rooting and lifting your heart, all of that, which is why I like to pair it up with the dogs. A little bit longer, and then we can start to think about coming up. Take your time, bit by bit, turning your down dog into a forward fold, spending some time in your forward fold. Oh, that reminds me, I forgot to do our fold in our our staff. We'll come back to that. I like to do a fold standing, because you can think about your tailbone reaching towards the ceiling and your crown chakra reaching towards the floor, reversing their energies and their directional energies. Take your time coming up. And once you're up, take a few moments to make sure you have everything you need. Clear the mat, maybe adjust something about your room, feel what it's like, look at your room, see your space. Start to wake up your feet, picking up different parts of your feet from the floor, strengthening your legs. And then when you're ready, come to the front of your mat. I'm going to face the side. When you come to the front of your mat, find a nice mountain pose. And then from there, make your way into a chair pose. Couple of breaths in your chair pose. Maybe do some cactus arms, opening up your heart chakra. And then when you're ready, lift back up, come back out of your chair. And when you're ready, let's make our way into a warrior one, stepping the right foot back, Bending the front knee and lifting those arms up when you feel ready. Bit by bit, build your warrior from the ground up. Bring those root chakra ideas into building your poses. Let's bring our arms into cactus arms so that we can draw our belly in and lift the heart a little bit more easily. And then let's go into a back bended version. Interlacing the hands, lifting the heart. Maybe do some Ujjayi breathing here. Returning to warrior whenever you're ready. Coming into a warrior 2 as you're ready. Let's do a few of those bows that we've been doing. Take your time with these transitions. And we bring the back hand forward, do a few rounds of that. Nice way to help you open up that back shoulder. Returning to your warrior 2 as you're ready. And then let's go into sun. Lifting the heart. Coming back to your warrior 2 as you're ready. Let's turn that into a triangle. Let's turn that back into a warrior 2. Let's do one more sun. Ujjayi breath whenever you so desire. You don't have to do it the whole time. I come back to it if I'm starting to feel tired and I need energy, or if I feel like my attention level is starting to stray. Come back to your mountain. Take a couple of breaths. Notice the two sides coming back to a more balanced. You might feel that front leg a little bit more than the back leg. That's normal because that hip was, flexed. Let's balance it up. Let's do it on the other side. So I'm going to step down here so that when I'm turning out, I face you. So mountain pose to begin with. And let's do a chair to start things off. Take your time forming your chair. And once you've got that chair, let's do some cactus arms to help open up that heart. In fact, let's do a few flies this time. Yeah, bringing the arms in and out. Ujjayi breath whenever you need it. Coming back to cactus arms as you're ready. Extended mountain, and then mountain as you're ready. And then whenever you're ready, step the left foot back. Take your time, bit by bit, building your warrior from the ground up. And this time, let's bring the hands out to the sides in our warrior 1, and then bring the arms back up. That's if it's there for you. You could keep it still if you don't want to bring the movement. But this is a nice way to strengthen our warriors, strengthen our resolve, lift the heart a little bit more, maybe some Ujjayi breath here. And next time you bring your arms down, open out into warrior 2 and see how that movement might help you with that transition. And now we're in our warrior 2 on this side. And once it's stable, Let's do some of those bows that we've been doing. You could follow the hand with your head. You can watch it, or you can keep the head stable. What makes you feel secure? Come back to a still, stable warrior two as you're ready. Well, it's always been stable. Let's go into our sun. What's it like? Another breath or two. Come back to your warrior two. And then we'll turn this into a triangle. So that means that front leg extends. We extend the spine and bring that front hand down to that front leg. And the back arm goes up into the air. Head in line with the spine. Try not to let your head dangle. I see a lot of folks do this. So, and I'm not seeing it now, but I see that happen. Maybe some Ujjayi breath. Turn it back to your warrior two as you're ready. I love that transition because you can see how similar the warrior twos are to your triangle. Coming back to the front as you're ready. Taking a couple of breaths. So we brought some real nice balance to the physical aspects of our bodies. Took a lot of strength, a lot of power. Notice how all that made you feel emotionally. Okay. So next, let's do a dancer's pose. We've been doing a lot of stars lately. And if you'd like, you could do a star pose. If you want a more simple balance pose, please feel free to do this pose. One leg is up off the floor and both arms are out. So please feel free to do that. But I thought maybe a dancer's pose today for our balance because that can it lifts the heart and it brings lots of attention to your voice chakra. I'm going to do it from the side. You start with a good solid mountain, and then you pick one foot up and you take hold of that foot in the back there. And then, if it's there for you, you bring your front arm up. And that can be your dancer's pose right there. But if it's there for you, you could take a little bit further. You could draw the belly in, lift the heart, put a little bit of a back bend into it, and lift that back leg, pressing that back foot into the back hand, pressing the foot on the floor that's on the floor, evening the hips, drawing the belly in, lifting the heart. I'm right next to the wall, so every time I need it, I bring that hand to that wall. And then you can bit by bit come back out of it and take a couple of breaths. Notice how you feel. Maybe you were doing your star pose. Either is fine. Whichever one you picked, do it on the other side. Dancer's pose. Bit by bit. Stabilize each change. So before you bring that arm into it, make sure you can handle holding on to that foot. Then you know you're ready for more. Bit by bit. Same principles to build your star pose. Building from the ground up, keeping the belly drawn in, keeping that connection between your belly strength and your leg strength, your root chakra integrating with your solar plexus chakra. Maybe some Ujjayi breath here. We're going to do it one more time on each side. So we're all in different stages, different poses, different sides. It's good to do each pose at least twice. You could even bring a chair into it. So here I've got a chair. You could use that chair for stability. We're doing both sides. I'm going to go about maybe 15 or so more breaths. Please take your time. Couple more quiet breaths, standing. Maybe some quiet ujjayi breaths to help you settle down from that challenge. I do that a whole lot. Just kind of quiet it. I find myself resorting to that ujjayi breath all the time off the mat. All the time. Okay, so let's take a few more moments standing. What do you need? Maybe some movement. Maybe you'd like to do some counter work and bring the hands behind you. What is your body asking for? To counter, to respond to all that we've just been doing. And then what we'll do, we're doing great on time. Let's make our way back down to the floor with whatever props we need. Let's definitely have a block and the strap, and perhaps your blanket, and whatever you need for Shavasana. I wouldn't put your socks on just yet, though. All right, let's do this. Let's do a forward fold with our straps. Staff pose to begin with, legs extended. Root the sits bones. You want to engage the leg muscles. You want to engage the glute muscles. You want to engage the core and torso muscles. Integrate those powers, putting a little bit more intention, more strength, more foundational premises to your position. Maybe a couple of ujjayi breaths. It's up to you. And then let's put our strap into it. Find the center of the strap and put your feet into that center. And then once you've done that, once again, reconnect with those foundational ideas to keep you good and strong. Draw the belly in and lift the heart. And as you start to fold forward, think about reaching your heart towards the feet rather than slumping down. You're reaching the heart as you bring the heart down. The heart is reaching for those feet. That's what helps keep your spine long. That keeps you from slumping forward. That keeps your spine neutral. That keeps a sense of space to your front and back. Head comes down as you're ready. Ujjayi breath if ever you want some. And then as you're ready, slowly build your ascent from the ground up. Root into the ground to bring your body back up. Notice how that feels. Notice how it just seems to make more sense. We're starting to get up into the higher chakras, the ones that are associated with ideas of wisdom, seeing, understanding. You know, we're really paying attention to our needs and our experience and how we challenge ourselves. Okay, so next let's do a melting heart. We haven't done that one in a while. It's a nice inverted pose. We'll bring some attention and awareness to our throat area. If you want, you can put your socks back on because we don't really need foot traction at this point. That's up to you. And melting heart, if you recall, you might want a block and you might want a blanket. So have those at the ready. I'll do it from the side. I had stuff on my mat this morning. Wonder what that's all about, Jerry. Little things like that can, affect your root chakra. Make sure that blanket is good and sound if you're using it. So melting heart, we start in a table position. If you recall, we've got the block nearby. Feet can be wide like the knees, or the feet can come together for a little tripod effect. That's how I like it. Then you bring your hands forward so they're in front of your shoulders, and then you bring your shoulders, your elbows down. So now your forearms are down, you're in Sphinx arms, and then you bring your head straight down, either to the floor or to that block. And you want to make sure that you're not bringing your hips back behind your knees. You want those hips right above the knees as if you were in a table position. And your shoulders are ideally right over your elbows. Head supported by the earth or the block. Well, both if you're using the block. Settle in. If something doesn't feel right, that's a message to respond. And once you're there, settle in and break down the pose intellectually. So we broke it down physically to build it. So now why are we here? Melting heart. So the heart is going to the front of the body, but also towards the top of the body a little bit. It's inverted. We're in an inverted position, and we know that our heart likes that. We know that our thyroid and our throat likes that. We know that our head and brain like that. We're bringing fresh oxygenated blood to these areas in a very gradual, low-key, peaceful manner. Conditioning our heart and our throat chakra and even our third eye and our crown chakra. You could do some Ujjayi breathing here. Compounding the effects. Clarifying the issue at hand. Giving you energy. Promoting understanding. You could always look between the brow line there, the third eye, if you so desire. Let's go 5 more breaths. And whenever you're ready, come back to regular breath if you were doing any Ujjayi breathing. A couple of those breaths before you start to lift up. And we want to lift up slowly but surely, quietly. Because we were in there in that position for some time. Come back to your table. And then at some point, come back to a seat for a moment. Doesn't have to be real formal. We're just bit by bit coming back up, staying for a few moments in a seat. And then from there, we can make our way back to our backs. And knees on the floor, feet bent. Maybe have a blanket under you. I'm going to sit up, but you take your time lying back into a 2-legged table. And again, you could have the socks on. We're going to be very low key these last few moments. So once you have settled into your 2-legged table, take a couple of breaths there. And then from there, let's do a gentle twist. So you could go into Apanasana and pull your feet up off the floor, bring your arms out to the side, and then go into your twist, or you could have the feet on the floor and go into your twist. Whatever version you want, whatever feels right for you. Prop it up if you so desire, and then settle into the position that you've built and take 5 breaths in it. Nice deep inhales and nice gentle long exhales. And you're welcome to bring some ujjayi breathing into that twisted breath. Take your time with that. And once you have finished that side, again, please take your time. Take a couple of regular breaths if you did that ujjayi breathing in that twist before you dismantle it bit by bit. And try to stay in the middle for a couple of breaths before you go to the other side. And then once again, root chakra ideas, bringing stability, physically foundationing that pose, releasing into it and enjoying it. And then as you're ready, bit by bit, come back to the center and take a couple of breaths back in the middle. Maybe do an apanasana, maybe a little bit of movement. Try to keep things balanced and even as much as possible in these last few moments, and try to keep things gentle in that balanced physicality. Bit by bit, slowly but surely, making your way back to a two-legged table, or maybe you're already there. Maybe you never went anywhere else. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and extend those legs out and maybe put something under the thighs, something to support your low back and those legs as you settle into your shavasana. And I suggest a couple of cleansing breaths. Or maybe even make them ujjayi cleansing breaths. You can combine these breath techniques, eventually settling into more quiet breath. And notice the body's physical state. And see if you might use the energies within your body to release and relax that physical state even more. And as you lie here in your shavasana position, draw your awareness to your heart and your belly area, your thoracic area. Notice the rise of the heart and the lowering of the heart as you breathe in and out. Excuse me. Breathe in, feel the heart rise. Breathe out, feel the heart soften. And as you slowly breathe in and out, invite feelings or images of kindness, of love, of compassion. Let that fill your entire being, your entire body. Breathing in love, breathing out love. Radiating, bathing in that loving, compassionate energy, as if you're cradling yourselves in love. And let yourself bask in this energy of loving kindness, breathing it in, breathing it out, as if it were a lifeline for you. And then in your mind's eye, think of someone who or someones who are very important to you. Spouses, children, good close friends, someone you really love. And let that radiating, loving energy pass on to them in your thoughts. Perhaps they can feel your energy. And then maybe bring to mind someone pretty neutral in your life, someone you don't see very often, someone you just, kind of there. And continue breathing in and breathing out that loving energy and radiate that energy to those people, for they're just as deserving of your love or anybody's love as the people who are close to you. And then draw to mind someone who is difficult for you, someone you have problems with. And as you continue to breathe in and breathe out that love, basking in that loving, compassionate energy, see if you might radiate it to those. And this can be difficult, having warm, loving energy to someone who is difficult for you. But if you can put these ideas into your internal voices, you might find that this radiating internal love can manifest itself in your voice and how you speak to these people. Maybe. Take a few more moments. And then as you're ready, slowly bring your thoughts back to your body, your space. Start to deepen your breath. and start to stir yourselves. And whenever you're ready, slowly but surely, start to make your way bit by bit back up to a two-legged table, and then to one side, and then eventually to a seated position. Taking your time, and we'll meet however you like, building a seat, propping it up, taking a few moments to understand, understand what's going on, how all these practices have affected us. We did a little bit of everything: movement, meditation, breath work. Notice how these activities have affected your heart, your voice, your thoughts. And then as you're ready, let's bring our hands together. May you be safe, may you be happy, and may you be free from suffering. Namaste. Thank you so much for your practice. I apologize. I probably shouldn't have done that meditation at the end. I didn't give myself enough time for it, so I went a little over. So I apologize for that. I'm going to stop the recording. If you need to bump out, just bump out. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.